Hello, my name's Alexis and welcome to my July TBR. We have a lot going on in the month of July. There are 3 incredible readathons I'm participating in, so lots of books to try and complete all of the prompts, so let's get right into it. First off, we are continuing from the month of June, Romantasyathon, which of course is hosted by the lovely Tori Between Pages. And every readathon I talk about in this video, I will be linking the creators below. So if you are interested in participating as well, please check them out. They put so much work into these readathons. So of course, if you watched my June TBR, you know that I have been participating in this 2-month-long readathon, and this is all about reading fantasy romance books. There is something like 31 prompts, so I'm not confident that I will hit them all, but we're pretty close. I think I've checked off like half of them, and of course I am doubling up on prompts, so there's no way I'm reading 31 fantasy romance books in these 2 months, so doubling up is fine. The next readathon I'm participating in for the entire month of July is Tarot Readathon. This one is so fun. This is hosted by Noelle 7 Pages and Deja's Bookish World. This one is a team-based readathon, and you draw tarot cards that the hosts have matched up to different prompts, so you can read as few or many cards as you feel like pulling. I am the way I am, and I think I pulled like 15 tarot cards, but we're only going to talk about 12 of them in this video because 3 of them are for like a ongoing project that I talked about in my June TBR, so you guys already know what series that is, but I'm not going to mention it again in this TBR. And last but not least, of course, we have Summerween, one of my absolute favorite readathons to participate in, and this is hosted by Gabby Reed. I have been doing this readathon since like the very beginning. I am such a huge Gabby Reed stan, and just like any readathon that brings Halloween into different parts of the year, I'm going to be participating in it. So as always, I am so excited for Summerween. I have some really great stuff planned, and I think I'm going to be daily vlogging, so look forward to that. I'm super excited for my first ever Summerween, like on YouTube, where I can actually like vlog for it. I know I did Winterween, but like Summerween is the original. Yeah, I think that's all of our like housekeeping things that we have to get out of the way. So let's get into the book. Okay, so I made sure that every book on this TBR corresponds with a tarot card. So I'm gonna show you the card and explain the prompt and then the book that I chose for them, but I am using these books for all of the readathons I'm participating in, because if I have a way to double up on prompts between readathons, you know I'm gonna take it. So first off, I want to show you this stunning tarot deck that I use, and I did pull all of these off camera. Sorry, when Tarot Readathon was announced, I was way too excited to build my TBR, but I promise I stayed truthful in everything I pulled, except for, because I am Team Pentacles, which I don't think I told you what team I was on, but one of my like special abilities, every team has their own ability, but mine is that if I don't like a card, I can redraw it 1 time. So I did take advantage of that 4 times, and I'll show you those cards too. But yeah, just wanted to show you, hopefully if it focuses, I will be showing you the corresponding tarot card that goes along with each prompt. This is a horror tarot deck. I got this from, I think, Barnes & Noble, and it's by Insight Editions. So if I can find the link for it, I will link that below as well. So first up, I guess I will show you the ones that I pulled, but I redrew for them because I couldn't find any books that I wanted to read that fit this. So my system was, I kind of made a list of all of my hopefuls for the month, and then I drew my tarot cards, and with each card that I drew, I would try and match up a book until I felt like I had enough of my hopefuls list on my official TBR. So like I said earlier, I ended up with 15, which I know is way too ambitious, but you guys know I'm delusional, so it's fine. First up, I ended up drawing King of Wands, and I am so sorry, but I did not write down what the prompts for these guys are, so I don't remember, but on Noelle's video that I'm going to link, there's like the whole guide of all the tarot cards, so if you're interested. Next up was the Sun, Queen of Swords, and 6 of Cups. So I did only redraw once, so my first official tarot card that counted towards a prompt was the Knight of Wands. The prompt that goes along with this card is a book set in a different time or world than ours, and this one is perfect for Romantasyathon because any romantasy book I could have chosen most likely would take place in a different world. So I decided to go with The Book of Azrael by Amber V. Nicole, and this one happens to be the Who Did This To You book club pick for the month of July, which is the book club hosted by Tori, and a specific prompt to check off on our Romantasyathon board. So we're just checking off all the boxes with this one. So the synopsis for this one is a little confusing if I'm being honest, but I think once I get into it, it'll make more sense. So it says, World Ender meets Ender of Worlds. 1,000 years ago, Diana gave up her life in the deserts to save her dying sister. She called upon anyone who would listen, not expecting a monster far worse than any nightmare to answer. Now she does what Caden asks, even if that means securing an ancient relic from the very creatures that hunt her. And I think Caden might be like this dark king, and he's the World Ender, maybe? I've just heard great things about this. When I was looking for some fantasy romance books to fit the prompts, this book was on like every list. Like I think I could probably check off every single prompt using this book. So that's the goal, to kind of hit all of the prompts that I haven't fulfilled yet. And yeah, I'm excited for it. I ended up really liking the last book club pick for June. So I'm trusting Tori again. And I just realized when I started filming this is an 800-page book. So she better be worth it. That's all I'm saying. Our next card is the Five of Pentacles. And this one is a book that you don't think will be 5 stars. This prompt sounds a little harsh because of course every book I'm putting on my TBR, I'm hoping it will be 5 stars, but I ended up putting a very anticipated book for me as this prompt, and that is Horror Movie by Paul Tremblay. And here's the reason. I either love or hate Paul Tremblay's books. I think Head Full of Ghosts was 2-star. The one about the vampire, the Pallbearers Club, that was 5 stars. Cabin at the End of the World, I think, was 5 stars. And then he had like a short story collection called like Growing Things that I think was 2 stars. So this could go either way. And just knowing that it's about a horror movie and like found footage and a cursed film, like every book that I've read like that so far has not gotten a high rating from me, but I've heard really good things about this. So I am still excited anyways, but yeah, I kind of told you what it was about. It's about a cursed film. Yeah, there's only one surviving cast member. The film was never actually released, and I think they're going back and kind of trying to the bottom of what really happened on set. So very excited for this one, and this is just a beautiful edition. I pre-ordered this one from Barnes & Noble, so I don't know if they all come with sprayed edges, but I was very excited when I saw this. Our next card is the Five of Wands. And the prompt for this one is a competition or conflict. For this one, I am picking Blood and Steel by Helen Schurer. This is a direct recommendation from Tori. I know this is one of her favorite series, so again, I am placing my full trust in Tori. She has not steered me wrong yet with her romantasy recommendations, and I'm really excited for this one. So I believe this one will have a competition or conflict in it, because this is about our main character, Althea, whose death was foretold. So she only has 3 years to become what she's always dreamed of being, a warrior legend. But women are forbidden to wield blades, so she's had to train in secret her entire life. Now she's racing against the clock to fight to secure her place in the elite guild charged with the protection of the 5 kingdoms. The sparring and hazing of the new trainees border on deadly, but even more dangerous is her growing attraction to Wilder Hawthorne, her unwilling warrior chaperone. Will Althea pass the perilous initiation test and take her place as champion of Thersmar, or will the invading evil snatch her dreams before it starts? I don't know if there's like an official competition. The fact that she's wanting to be crowned champion makes it sound like there is, but even so, I'm sure there will just be conflict throughout the story, with her being a woman who's not supposed to be wielding a blade and fighting to be part of this guild. Trigger warning for our next card, there is a spider on it, so I completely understand if you want to look away for a second, because I too get creeped out by spiders, but it is the Devil. And the prompt for this card is to read a book with mixed reviews, and I am finally getting around to one of my most anticipated books of the entire year, Diavola by Jessica by Jennifer Thorne. I'm so embarrassed that it has taken me this long to read this. Like, I was like foaming at the mouth waiting for this book to be released, and then I got it like March, I think this came out. Still haven't read it. So this is the month we're reading it, and it's just the perfect time because this is like a vacation ghost story where this family stays in this Italian villa, I think. But it ends up that the villa is haunted and it's a ghost story, and yeah, I've either heard people love it or hate it. I'm hoping that I am in the love it category, but I need to get to this. I'm so excited. The next card I drew was the Ace of Pentacles. And the prompt for this card is to buy or borrow a book from your wish list. This one was truly perfect timing because when I drew this card, I had this book sitting in my Pango card, and that is The Haunting of Velkwood. This one also is counting towards the Full Moon Book Club pick for July, hosted by the beautiful Jan Agaton. I will link her below as well. I don't know too much about this one. I know it's a pretty new release. It's another ghost story, so we're having lots of ghost stories, perfect for Summerween. It says it's a suburban ghost story about a small town that trapped 3 young women who must confront the past if they're going to have a future. Okay, so it's about like an abandoned town where nobody really knows what happened. There's only 3 survivors, and now they're going back after 20 years. So yeah, this one sounds like it's gonna be a fun time, and it's not very long, so super excited for it. Our next card is Strength. And normally on this card, there would be some sort of animal companion. On like the classic tarot art, it's usually a lion or a tiger. But yeah, so the prompt for this one is to read a book that has something to do with animals. For this one, I decided to make it my nonfiction pick of the month. I've been really failing at my nonfiction challenge. I am too behind. My goal was to read one every single month, and yeah, I'm failing. So to pick back up on that goal of mine, I decided to go with a easy nonfiction for this month, and that is World of Wonders. So this one is actually written by a poet, and I believe it's like half memoir, half poetry about animals. You'll see that it's tabbed actually because my partner read it, and going into it, he didn't realize it was like so much of a memoir, so he didn't like that aspect of it. He's much more of like a scientific nonfiction reader, but I really like memoirs, and I've heard other people in the book community have read this and really liked it, so I'm excited for it. And then there are beautiful illustrations throughout, so the end papers are gorgeous, and then I think at the beginning of each little like chapter or section, there are also pictures. I know my partner flew through this one, and it's pretty short. It's under 200 pages. Our next card is the 5 of Swords. The prompt for this one is to read a book where the character deals with their past. This is a book I don't have in my hands yet. I am waiting for Book of the Month to drop their July picks because I know this one is an add-on, and that is Middle of the Night by Riley Sager. I read the new Riley Sager book every single July, usually for Summerween. I just love his books so much. I don't care what other people say about them. Like, he is one of my favorite authors. They're just so fun, and like you can fly through them because you just never know where his books are going to go. I will say I did not like Survive the Night. I agree with the general consensus on that one, but the rest of them I've enjoyed. Middle of the Night, I don't want to like read the whole synopsis because like I'm kind of going in blind with this one, but I know this one is a little different than his other books because it's actually following a man main character when all of his other main characters have been female. So I'm really interested to see like how this is different. But this one is about our main character who is dealing with his past, where his childhood best friend went missing, and to this day, nobody really knows what happens. So I think in this one, we figure out what happens. Pretty straightforward, but yeah, I can't wait to have this in my hands and fly through it. Next up, we have the 3 of Swords. And the prompt for this one is a book that could make you cry, and it is time. There is no other author that gets me with every one of her books than Emily Henry. So of course, her newest release, funny story. I am so mad at myself for waiting this long to read it. Like, I am such a big Emily Henry stan. So this one is about our main character, Daphne, whose fiance, Peter, realizes that he's in love with his best friend, Petra. So Daphne ends up getting together with Petra's ex, Miles. And it's Emily Henry. I know I'm gonna love it. She usually makes me cry in her books. Like, her books just know how to speak directly to my soul, and I know I'm not alone. I know she is very well loved, and I've been hearing from a lot of people that this is their new favorite. So like, what am I doing? I can't wait for this one. Our next card is going to be Justice. And this prompt is to read a book dealing with a social issue. Now, I searched everywhere. I searched my entire TBR shelf, like double stacked. I pulled everything out, looked everywhere. I searched the stack of books on my bedroom floor that do not fit on the TBR shelf. I cannot find this book. So either I imagined having a physical copy or I lost it, but my pick for this one is going to be Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. This is a classic that I've never read, but I've heard many great things about, of course, and I think it's relevant even today. It has to do with book burning, especially today with all the book bans are happening. It's about a firefighter in the dystopian future whose job is to burn books, and one day he meets a young girl who changes his mind and makes him question if what he is doing is right. Our next prompt is for the Knight of Pentacles, and that is to read your most anticipated book on your TBR. Now, at this point, we've already gone over like so many books, but I do truly think this is one of my most anticipated. I have wanted to read this one for a very long time, and I bought it a few months ago with the intentions of saving it for Summerween, and that is Off Season by Jack Ketchum. I feel like this one is really well known. I know it's about cannibals. I know it's about some teenagers or young adults that go on vacation and they meet up with these cannibals and just shit goes down. So I've heard it's really, really gross and disturbing, and I'm so excited for it. I think this is going to be really fun, and especially because Stephen King blurbs it and says, if you read Off Season on Thanksgiving, you probably won't sleep until Christmas. I might use this as my book you read in the dark prompt for Summerween, because like, if I could scare myself, you know that's like my #1 goal with horror books. I love being scared. Our next card is The World, and I love this card so much. I love that they picked Cthulhu as like the model for the artwork. And our prompt for this one is to read a book that you've seen all over YouTube, Instagram, social media, wherever. And this book, since I saw Jordaline Reads reading it and talking about it, I've seen everybody reading it. So I want to get in. I have FOMO, and that is Fantasticland by Mike Breckhoven. This one is about a theme park called Fantasticland, and one day a hurricane strikes and ends up trapping all of the guests inside, and it kind of turns into like a Lord of the Flies situation where the guests all like join different groups and start killing each other and just go wild. And I know this one is told in a cool format because we have like court interviews like after the fact, so like we know what happened going in, and then like through the interviews we're digging through the gross details to get like the whole story. And yeah, I've just seen it everywhere. I had to have it. I have to know what the hype is about. And again, just a perfect Summerween book with the theme park setting. Always makes me think of the summertime. Okay, we've made it to our final card, and that is the 9 of Pentacles. The prompt that goes along with this one is to read a book with one main character or a very small cast of characters. And while I'm not 100% certain this book fits the prompt, I think it does. So if you've read this book, please let me know if there is really just one point of view we follow, or like 2 I think would still be okay. And that is None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. So this is a thriller that I've wanted to get to forever. I think it came out a year ago. Yeah, it came out August 2023. So I'm very behind. I've only ever read one other Lisa Jewell, and that was The Family Upstairs, but I loved it. Like, I was so shook by the ending. Like, I devoured that book in one sitting, I'm pretty sure. So I'm expecting this one to be the same. I know it got really, really great reviews when it came out last year. So this one is about a woman who finds herself the subject of her very own popular true crime podcast. While celebrating her 45th birthday at her local pub, popular podcaster Alex Summers crosses paths with an unassuming woman called Josie Fair. Josie, it turns out, is also celebrating her 45th birthday. They are, in fact, birthday twins. A few days later, Alex and Josie bump into each other again, but this time outside of Alex's children's school. So Josie starts listening to the podcast, and she thinks that she might be an interesting subject for a series. Josie's life appears to be strange and complicated, and although Alex finds her unsettling, she can't quite resist the temptation to keep making the podcast. Slowly, she realizes that Josie has been hiding some dark secrets, and before she knows it, Josie has inserted her way into Alex's life and her home. I'm so excited for this one. I'm craving a good thriller to just put me on the edge of my seat. Okay, that's it. We made it to the end of my very, very ambitious July TBR, but honestly, nothing new here. I always put way too many books on my want to read list. If you've made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. I really, really appreciate you. And as a bonus, Onyx has come to say hi. So if you would like to, please give me a thumbs up, and you can leave me the sunshine emoji as our emoji of the video in honor of July and summertime. I hope you read a good book today, and I will see you soon in my next one. Bye.